was said in the day that you could punch a hole in a storefront window on Selkirk Avenue and the police would be there in about 4 or 5 minutes, but you could hit your wife and they may or may not come at all. That's why Bear Clan in the 90s formed. Bear Clan of 2014 formed in response to what the tragedy that was Tina Fontaine and the discovery of her body in the Red River. That for me was the last straw. Like, I've been active in my community for the last 7 years or so, and when that happened, I knew that more needed to be done. The community's been crying for it for a decade already.
Winnipeg Police, along with other law enforcement across Canada, have been part of a massive operation to crack down on forced prostitution.
We bought our property in 2009. 2 years later, I think my daughter left home. Every time she stepped out of the house, there was some John trying to solicit her, and my wife in the front yard picking weeds out of the fence, somebody drive by and try to solicit her there. I don't think there's a woman in our community that doesn't have a story like that.
Winnipeg Police confirmed late today that Tina Fontaine's remains were pulled from the water at the Alexander Docks.
I'm a trucker by trade, and my truck was getting a seal replaced that morning, so I dropped my truck off, and I wanted to support Drag the Red because they'd started already. And so my wife and I went running down there, and we got to the docks, and there was nobody there except somebody at the Sacred Fire and a news reporter. She was asking me what my part was, and I said I'm chairman for the Dufferin Residents Association. We're looking at trying to start a safety patrol like the Bear Clan. We'd like to get the Bear Clan back, and that went out on the news on 6 o'clock, and the right people on the other end heard that, just like that. So fast that things came together.
He was saying he was having trouble with the kids, throwing stuff at his windows and stuff like that. See the egg on his windows?
Yep.
Oh, and then they take off?
We don't want you here. We want you to move.
Yeah.
You're scary right now. So.
Yeah. Okay, well, if I see him again, I'll try and talk to them.
We are based out of the Dinaway Youth Drop-In Center at 472 Selkirk Avenue. We patrol Wednesday through Sunday. We start gathering around 5:30, and it's a couple of forms to get filled out, and then we put you to work with a group of trained volunteers. There's no commitment. You don't need to feel guilty about not showing up some days. It's only 3 hours. It's the key 3 hours when the women and children are active in the community and things like that. We're just there to make sure that everybody's able to get around safe. Everybody's been crying for this. They've been screaming for this at the top of their lungs for a decade already. Less talk, more action, boots on the ground. Protect and empower women, children, elderly, and the vulnerable members of our community, in a nutshell.
It's been now 10 days since I last saw my daughter.
We were part of 5 high-profile missing persons cases that all ended in tragedy. Been troubled by the way we earned kudos for our support when they still ended poorly, for the families. Taking back the responsibilities of protecting our own and protecting ourselves and those within our community, this is something that the village used to do. And we've been retrained to think that, there's X amount of jobs out there and these are the positions that you have available, and if you don't fit into that paradigm, then you're out, And so we're saying this is a new way for your special gift to be recognized and utilized,
Okay, now let's everybody separate each other, okay? Maybe one officer with each one of the leaders here.
So we've got a 35-year Army veteran that comes and walks with us. We've got a guy who was 23 years in a federal penitentiary. We've got people with learning disabilities, FASD, and things like that. We have resident doctors that walk with us. The full spectrum. But the feeling that you get, when somebody sees you on the street wearing that jacket, with the Bear Clan logo, it's turned into something.
Roberta, there we are.
Like myself, 4 times convicted felon, but not garbage, still viable human being, still able to contribute. And I want to convey that to the rest of the world, that just because we've made these mistakes in our lifetime doesn't mean that we should be branded that way for the rest of our lives. Many of our members have criminal records, criminal histories, but they made the conscious decision to change their lives and offer something back to the community. Then why would we stand in the way of that?
The Winnipeg teen went missing early Valentine's Day after attending a party for his hockey team.
I heard on the news that Cooper was potentially spotted at Siloam Mission, and that's just across the tracks from my community. So I told my group that afternoon that we were going to be focusing our energies on around the rail tracks, under the bridges and things like that, so that we could, if he was there, we would find him. Thursday afternoon, I got a call from Brent Nemeth, and he asked us to be part of it, and I said, no problem. We're already on it. We'll do that. And you know, who better to do in this community than us? We know where everything is and where people, you know, hide out.
I thought that it wouldn't turn out this way. I thought he's just somewhere and he needs to just come home.
Stand with us and stand with the family.
They approached us and asked us to be part of a vigil for the boy, and I said, sure, absolutely, we'll do that.
Smudge, what you're doing is you're cleaning your spirit.
We were expecting, you know, 20 or 30 people, and there was nearly 1,000. Everybody was standing there and feeling the same pain and experiencing everything firsthand, and it was just remarkable. And so out of these tragedies is coming something that's healing, and so we just keep going. What I'm finding is our network on social media is grown to such a place where when I put out a missing person report, it's shared like 1,000 times. We reach 40,000 people in a go, and we're in 21 communities in 10 cities in 5 provinces. And then the 420 volunteers at last count, that's amazing. Yeah, I couldn't do it by myself, absolutely. You know, and then again, all of this on a guy that, you know, not used to doing these kinds of things. It's just amazing and overwhelming at times, but you know, I just head down, one foot in front of the other, just keep going. I want to see that every community that feels the need for it gets it, that anyone that wants to be part of it is, you know, and we'll change the world. We will.